Hi everybody and welcome back to my channel. Please excuse my hair. I've just kind of had a look and it's really annoying me at the moment. I'm desperately in need of going to the hairdressers, but in the meantime I apologise, it's looking grim. Today on my channel I wanted to do a little story time and I'm going to be talking about the time I auditioned for Disneyland Paris. So let's get started. So I auditioned for Disneyland Paris, I think it was about 2 years ago, and I think it was in the New Year time. I know that's very vague and I'm sorry, but I can't actually remember the date. I'd wanted to audition for quite a few years and I just decided to finally give it a go, and I thought if nothing comes of it, fine, but at least I'll have tried and then I can say that I've done it. So I had a look online and I applied online, and then I think you just had to kind of fill in a form. That got confirmed, and you printed that out and you just attended the audition. So I did that. The audition was in London, so obviously I'm not from London, I'm from up north in Carlisle. So I booked my train ticket and I stayed with my friend Kat in London. I got there on the evening and my audition was in the morning the next day. So I needed to make sure I was in London to get there early enough. So the next morning I got up really early, I got ready, I wore some kind of like black gym legging kind of things, like tights, and like an orange vest top because I wanted to wear something kind of bright and colourful that I could still kind of dance in. So I got ready, I tied my hair back and I kind of wore fairly minimal makeup. I wanted to still look presentable, but I was kind of advised that you were best to wear something quite minimalistic so they could kind of picture you as they wanted to see you. So I'd read some reviews before and I knew that the auditions could get really busy and I wanted to make sure I was there nice and early. So I had to brave the rush hour traffic, which anybody who knows me, I am not good in crowds, and the idea of being on a cramped train when it's so busy just makes me wince. But I went down and I managed, and I kind of did hesitate a little bit, but I managed to do the trains. I got to Pineapple Dance Studios where the audition was. I managed that fine, and when I arrived I was expecting a massive queue and there wasn't one which was good, so it was good. So I had got there nice and early. So I went into Pineapple Dance Studios, I asked at the desk where the auditions were and they were upstairs in one of the rooms, and I spotted, I got talking to some people straight away, and one of the girls had been on the train with me and would kind of like, I noticed she was in dance clothes and I wondered whether she was there for the audition, and she was. So I was talking to her, another couple of girls and a guy, and we were all kind of chatting about what to expect. I just remember kind of being really aware of anybody that walked in the room, making sure to smile. So I was literally like smiling at everybody that walked in, because you don't know who is auditioning you and you want to make sure that you look very like Disney ready at any point in the day. So I was very smiley, probably over the top, probably looked like a real creep. So whilst we were sitting waiting in the room, one of the girls I was talking to, she had auditioned before and kind of told me a little bit of what to expect, but she didn't want to give too much away. Obviously you're all there kind of competing, so she was a little bit secretive about it, and there was definitely some girls in the room who were, I suppose, a little bit intimidating. They were just really looked like the perfect Disney people. They were like blonde and petite, and one of them had like a skirt on and she kept like doing like turns, and she'd auditioned before and she'd got right through to like the final stages the last time. And I remember like looking at her and thinking like, oh gosh, she's definitely going to get the part, she just looks like a Disney princess. So I just tried to ignore that and just kind of tried to focus on me and preparing myself, and I was definitely nervous but I was really excited too. We eventually got called through to the main room. You had to kind of line up and walk around the corridor. You were given a form. I think they had to measure you, because obviously you have to be certain heights for different characters. Once you were measured, you had to walk around and go to a desk and hand in your form to some of the people that were judging. So obviously I just made sure I was really smiley and kind of introduced myself well, but he was definitely more interested in some people than others. Like I remember when I handed my form and he was just like, okay, thank you, and I was just like, oh okay. Whereas some people he was like chatting with and stuff, or he'd seen at auditions before, but I didn't kind of let that bother me. I just thought, well, these people are auditioning again, they obviously didn't get hired last time, so you don't know what they're looking for. Once we'd all been measured, we watched a presentation about what it's like working in Disneyland Paris, how you can be doing different things at different points in the day, and how it was really important that nobody kind of got too big for the boots. You also were told about like Disney integrity and kind of not revealing any of the secrets, so I am being a little bit careful about what I say in this video because it's really important to keep the Disney magic. I think that's very important for, you know, well, anybody, kids especially, but you know, I wouldn't want the Disney magic ruined for me either. So yeah, that was a very important part of it, but you also got told about accommodation and the kind of jobs you'd be doing, and it all sounded amazing. If I'm honest, I was like expecting them to kind of try and make it sound really hard so that they could kind of get rid of some people through that, but it sounded amazing. So once we'd watched the presentation, we got told we were going to do an animation sequence, and then the people that were going to get kept on later would do dance later. So I wasn't really sure what they meant by animation, but basically we were all kind of spread out, and there was one of the choreographers there, and she told us what to do. So you basically have to kind of make up your own thing. So you would have to do 4 counts as a cowboy, 4 counts as a pirate, 4 counts as a dwarf, 4 counts as a princess, 4 counts as a villain, and then you would go off as yourself and kind of try and look really animated. So they told you to try and be original. If somebody next to you is doing a similar kind of thing that you're doing, then change what you're doing so nobody's kind of doing the same, which is really hard to do, because if you try and think of how would I move like a cowboy, but you only have 4 counts to do it, so it's quite hard to kind of try and show your personality, but you don't want to be like messy either. You want it to be still kind of full on but controlled, so it's a really hard balance to get, but they'll give you a few times to practice. So you do it, you kind of like learn, you know, think of it by yourself, and you'll do like a run through, and then maybe you have a little bit more time by yourself and then do another run through, and then you get split up into groups. So you have numbers on your top, so they'll call out a few numbers and then they're a group, and then call out some more and they're a group, and then those groups kind of will get given a go in front of the judges, and that's like this is your audition, that's your main time. You do it as best as you can. So I think maybe like 4 groups had gone before my group was called, and you have like places to stand, and I remember standing in the wrong place and then being like, no, it's over here, and I was just like, well, I've, you know, messed up my first impression, but I thought, never mind, you know, that's just a little thing. I kind of laughed it off, and you know, I still gave my all. And then the music plays, I did my counts and things, and thinking back now, it definitely wasn't good enough, but I think, as I say, it was really hard. It's like you don't have a lot of time to kind of think of those things, and it was quite different from anything I'd done before, but some people were amazing. I remember one girl watching her and thinking like, she's nailing it, she was amazing. So basically, once you've performed, it's really like, there's no feedback or anything. They just kind of call out a few numbers. They say like, you, congratulations, come over here, everybody else get your things and go home. And unfortunately my number didn't get called, so I just picked up my bags and walked out the room, and I was like, oh, that's it, all done. And that was probably after about an hour. It can't have been later than like 11 AM, and I hadn't booked my train back till about 7 PM that day, because I know if you were to get through all the rounds, you can be there for hours and hours. So I hadn't booked my train back home until the evening, so I just had loads and loads of time to kill in London, feeling sad and disappointed that I hadn't got through. So I remember going to the diner in Covent Garden and just stuffing my face with pancakes and milkshakes, and I wasn't a vegan then, so I was eating all this like massive pile of food, like feeling sorry for myself, and I was just like wandering around the shops being like, oh, I'm not gonna be a princess after all. So sad. But you know, I enjoyed the experience. It was definitely you know, something I'm pleased I can say I did. And there was some people there that were so good. A couple of the people I was talking to at the start, they got called through to the next part, and then they would have been taught the dance sequence, so I didn't get to see how that went. But you know, I could always audition again if I wanted to be honest. I don't think I would now. I feel like I'm maybe a little bit too old and doing other exciting things, so it's all good, but at least I can say I auditioned and I tried, and maybe one day I will work in Disneyland in a different way. What I always think is Jade from Little Mix, she often talks about how she auditioned to be Princess Jasmine in the parks and she didn't get it, and I just think, well, she's so talented and so beautiful, so if she didn't get it, then I'm not gonna beat myself up about it. I will say though that the people who got called through to the second round were very, very mixed. Those people, different ethnicities, different heights, different builds, mixture of boys and girls, so it definitely depends on what characters they're looking for at that time. I think they were looking for Tiana and Maleficent and things, so there's definitely a couple of taller girls that got chosen who I'm assuming were going to be put forward for that. There's a beautiful African American girl, and I thought she's probably going to get chosen to be Tiana, so you could kind of see why certain people were chosen, and I don't think I look like a princess. I would have been happy to be in a fur costume or just be a dancer in a parade or anything like that, but as I say, I'm still pleased I auditioned and I don't regret it. Okay, so that is the end of my video today. I feel like I just talked really fast, so I don't know what this is going to turn out like, but I hope you enjoyed my story. Let me know if you've had any auditions for Disney or any other kind of theme parks or any kind of auditions, and let me know how your experiences were in the comments. Please like this video if you enjoyed it, and I will see you in my next one. Bye!